Okay, so imagine your child goes missing and you report it to the police. They don't really seem to care, but then they bring you a random boy and insist that this is your missing child. And when you tell them that they're wrong, then they place you in a mental hospital. Well, that's exactly what happened to this woman here, Christine Collins. And the movie The Changeling with Angelina Jolie is based on her story. So this story takes us back to 1928 when Christine was going off to work. She was a single mother and she had a 9-year-old son named Walter Collins. She left Walter at home that day, but when she returned back from work, he wasn't in the house and she had no idea where he had gone. Christine goes around asking everyone in the neighborhood if they've seen Walter, but no one has any clue. So of course she reports it to the police. It was said to have been a botched investigation from the very beginning. Initially they thought that Walter's father had something to do with the disappearance because he was a convicted criminal, but he was cleared. After 5 months, the police were no closer to finding out what happened to Walter, and the community were starting to really put pressure on them. Then randomly, police show up with a boy and tell Christine that this was her missing son, Walter. Right away, Christine knew that this was not her son. He was several inches shorter than he was, he just looked a little bit different, and even his dental records ended up proving that it wasn't Walter. However, the police insisted that it was him, and they even told Christine to try him out for a few weeks. Christine initially agreed to try it out for a couple weeks, but she quickly changed her mind. And when she wouldn't just accept it, the police then had her committed to a mental hospital in Los Angeles. And the case took a very unexpected turn. On a completely different case, police actually went to Wineville, California to deliver deportation papers to this kid here. He was Sanford Clark and he was 15 years old and he was actually from Canada. He was said to have been visiting his uncle Gordon Stewart in Northcott, and they were staying on his farm. However, when police got to the farm to deliver the deportation papers, Gordon was said to have ran away. Finding this completely odd, the police started looking into what happened and opened a whole new investigation. This would later turn out to be the Wineville chicken coop murders, which I'll make a separate video about. Sanford would go on to say that he was being abused and SA'd by his uncle the entire time he was there, and that his uncle had also forced him to lure boys to the farm and unalive them. He believed that Walter Collins was one of those little boys. Gordon was then quickly arrested, and on February 8, 1929, he was convicted of unaliving 3 boys. He was then hung on October 2, 1930. Fortunately, there was no actual proof that Walter was one of these boys aside from eyewitness testimony. And 5 years after Gordon's execution, a boy came up to Christine. He had told her that Walter was indeed one of the boys on the farm, and together with him they had escaped. Initially, the 2 boys were on the run together but somehow separated, and then he had no idea what happened to Walter after that. Walter's whereabouts were never discovered. As for Christine, she was released from the hospital 10 days after Gordon was arrested. And as for the fake little boy, he said that he only agreed to lie because he found out that Christine was living in LA and he wanted to be there to meet some favorite celebrities.